Don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. 100% all natural products from lotions, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, and much, much more. Use the promo code Goodfella1Boxing. Tell them your boy CJ Goodfella sent you. Get 18% off. We out.
All right, man. They debuted The Last Dance, Michael Jordan and the Bulls Dynasty documentary yesterday. Let's kind of give a quick review. Episodes 1 and 2 debuted yesterday. So hold on. They debuted yesterday, man. So let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. 3 and 4, I believe, air next week about the Bad Boys. I have a harder opinion on that. But hit the subscribe button, bell icon button, check NBA Talk playlist for more NBA videos. Excuse me, like this. And yeah, started off, they kind of did I don't know what they call it in the Hollywood or the music industry, where they started off with basically at the end of their run, but then they started going all the way back and how it began, and they kept going from their current point, where they end their last season to the beginning. So they profiled, Michael Jordan, obviously, his high school days being cut and at Laney High School, and they profiled him in college and how Dean Smith told him to go to the pros, and that was pretty much uncommon. And a lot of guys, stayed 4 years. It profiled him making the shot as a freshman, and sending the Tar Heels and winning the national championship over Georgetown, all the way up to his rookie year in the Bulls, and pretty much how his mom and dad was around a lot as a rookie, and how he profiled that the Bulls were indulging into the devil's dandruff and drinking and smoking weed and doing things with hookers and prostitutes. That was already documented back in the day. They was known as the Cocaine Bulls, I believe, and that's why the Bulls had never won nothing, bro. The organization just needed somebody that was going to change the perception, change the culture, and the Bulls didn't care. And just as the Cocaine Bulls were, there's teams out there that's like that just don't care about winning. All they do is care about is cashing their checks. Not saying they in the hookers and stuff of that nature, but there's groupies out there, and they don't care about winning. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you just feel that the NBA ain't gonna give you an opportunity to win, so you just show them to work to get a check and get yours. So they profiled exactly when he came into the league, and he took it by storm, where the narrative was that if you didn't have a great big guy, that a guard couldn't turn a team around. You know what I'm saying? That a guard couldn't turn the team around. So Jordan was the beginning of that. You know what I'm saying? A 6'6" guard that had an instant impact like none other. So that's why Sam Bowie and Hakeem Olajuwon went in front of him. And now we in the league today where the big man is pretty much obsolete. You know what I'm saying? Your dominant players are your wing guys. Back then, your dominant guys were your Birds, your McHale's, I want to say Robert Parrish, but Hakeem, Ralph Sampson for a short amount of period, Ewing and Kareem and Wilt. Those were your dominant guys. You know what I'm saying? Those are guys that can turn the team around like that. And now in the NBA, those are your James Hardens, your Westbrooks, your Brons, your Kevin Durant's. Those are your wing guys, are now guys that can turn it around like that. And that's the difference between the NBA back then and now. And it can be that way again, where a big fella can turn it around. Because back then, most of your big fellas, all your dominant big fellas was dominant in the 3 phases of the game: offense, rebounding, and defending. And they had a block game. So, but the documentary, it goes on to talk about Jerry Krause, and people started to make the correlation that Jerry Krause was the little green thing that was running the Monstars. They trying to say that was him, and I do believe that to be accurate. And Jerry Krause was a smaller guy that built the team, and then he wanted to tear it down and start rebuilding before they had even lost. And he had a bad relationship with Phil. He had a bad relationship with Scottie. Then he had a bad relationship with Michael Jordan. And Jerry Krause, I think he kind of stood out the most. Jerry Krause definitely stood out the most because, he just was a guy that had a short man's complex. He wanted to prove that at one point that he was the star, and he wanted everybody to know that he could recreate the storm that he created with Chicago, as far as with drafting, getting promoting Field from assistant, to drafting Michael and drafting Scottie out of some small school nobody to this day still heard of. And he wanted to show that he was the guy, and he was the motherfucking sauce in the spaghetti. He was the cheese in the macaroni. You know what I'm saying? The cheese. So I think they painted him in a bad light. Michael said, "I didn't want to be seen as a guy that was in a bad light." We know. I mean, most people that know Michael was like that. We knew about Jerry Krause, but I think to that extent about how they didn't want to pay, redo Scottie's. They didn't want to redo Scottie's contract, and just how he had a bad relationship with three of the most integral players in the organization, and how the owner vetoed him getting rid of Field and making him bring Field back and all that. So, the first part was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I really don't feel like it hit its stride, but going to the second episode, they kind of talked more about Scottie for a minute and how he held out the last year, and he got surgery late, and kind of you could tell Michael wasn't happy about it, and and they were struggling without Scottie that last year in '98, and Scottie wanted to trade because Jerry Krause didn't want to do his contract. He didn't respect him. He just didn't care no more. Scottie was like a guy going into a dead end job that didn't have shit to lose. You know what I'm saying? Cussing Jerry Krause out and just a lot of stuff. And then they kind of went back to Jordan after they kind of said Scottie grew up in a house with two people who was in wheelchairs, and and they kind of profiled him. Then they went back to Michael a little bit more about how Michael was cussing the team out, in the current day with '98, about how they needed to pick up and how hard he was cussing the team out. When Scottie was there, how stressed he was and how he had to pick up the burden, and how important Scottie ended up being to that team. And they learned his importance, and Michael already knew how important he was. He said, "Don't mention Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen, because I couldn't have done it without him." In '98, if he didn't really believe that to that point, '98, everybody went from the street today. '98, I'm telling you, they don't pay no attention in Detroit to the coronavirus and quarantine. They still do what they want to do. That's why I say open the economy back up, but it's another story for another day. But yeah, they showed how important Scottie was. You know what I'm saying? But then they went into Michael and how he had the Liz Frank injury with the foot, and how he wanted to play, and how they was trying to tank. And Michael said no load management. He said, "I made a promise to go make the playoffs every year I was here." And he went to the Boston Garden and dropped 49 and then 63 in one of the most iconic loser moments in basketball. And it just came down to Boston having the last shot. And that Celtics '86 team was one of the greatest teams ever built, man. They definitely one of the top 5 or 6, 7 teams in history. When you talk about McHale, Parrish, Larry, Dennis Johnson, had Bill Walton on the bench, and they couldn't do nothing with him. And people, laughing about how skinny they was, but McHale had one of the greatest. He had the most technical block game there is. You know what I'm saying? You talking about Bernard King had a great block game from a technical standpoint. Hakeem had the most flashy block game. Robinson Ewing had a nice block game, but McHale block game, if you want to kind of, show somebody how to have a fundamental block game, McHale block game was crazy. And, he one of the greatest players, in the post I ever seen play. And Larry Bird is, today, Larry Bird will be one, greatest players. And people say, "Oh, they could never play today." Well, last time I checked, Kevin Love played today. Last time I checked, Draymond Green played today. You know what I'm saying? There's so many sorry ass dudes in the league today that getting all this money that's not that good. McHale would have done great in this league today. You know what I'm saying? And so with Larry Bird. Larry Bird's probably be top player in the league down there. But people don't know shit about basketball, so I'm not even gonna harp on that. And they kind of just went on how tough that regular season was, with Jordan and Pippen. And also they kind of went in the first episode, they went into the little classic. They went over there in Paris, and how Pippen was holding out, like we just talked about, how Rodman was holding out. And Pippen had kind of got an injury or whatever, and waited to get surgery late. So, overall, it was pretty good, but I just think it was slow. It was slow. The hip hop songs, Rakim and LL, that shit was dope. The production is good, but I think a lot of people were saying, I seen Drew Barry saying it wasn't that good. Like, you could tell he a Jordan hating ass nigga. I ain't gonna hold you up. You can tell he don't like Jordan, and me neither, dog. I hate Jordan, dog. And I'll explain that in a minute. What where my hatred for Jordan come at. I should wait till next week, but I'll give y'all a snippet of it, right? I'm gonna tell y'all a story, right? But yeah, I agree with him. But at the end of the day, you have to respect it, bro. You know, he was playing golf with the Celtics and shit. I know Jerry Barry gonna be mad if I don't mention that. He's playing golf with the Danny Ainge, and you know he's playing golf with the Ops during the playoff series and shit. And they was betting money though, but still you can't be fraternizing with the Ops. But had he not played Ops with Danny Ainge, maybe he didn't drop 63 because Danny Ainge beat him and was talking junk to him, and you know. That was tough. As far as the production, it was great. I think it started off a little slow. I think they chopped it up well, though. You know what I'm saying? As far as going from 98, going back in the day. I like the way they doing it. But I just think it started off slow. And I think it's going to heat up next week with the Pistons. And kind of that chronicle thing. It's going to be a lot of lies told. It's unfortunate if they don't bring Isaiah in. They don't bring Joe D or Sally, you know, in to kind of talk about it. But, you know, it was good. You know, was I expecting a little bit more in part 1 and 2? Yeah, but no, because I didn't know how they was going to do this documentary. But I think it's gonna heat up. It was real good. I think it was insightful, it was engaging. I didn't really lose interest at all. You know, I wasn't fully engaged. So it was good, but I think as you go on, it's gonna heat up, man. I think it really is. So, you know, it was good. So let me know what you guys thought about it in the description. In the comment section. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those links in the description. You got business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Want to make a donation to the channel, Cash App, PayPal in the description. Best way to donate to the channel is to share the video. Appreciate it. Let me know what you guys thought about the Dr. Dome.